People of Nicaragua celebrate the 46th anniversary of the triumph of the Sandinista People's Revolution. In Palestine, the Israeli army issued a new evacuation order, this time for the residents of the city of Deir al-Balah. And in China, Hong Kong issued its highest storm warning on Sunday as Typhoon Weipa, with winds of more than 167 kilometers per hour, brought heavy rains and winds across the territory. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm with Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The people of Nicaragua celebrate the 46th anniversary of the triumph of the Sandinista People's Revolution. The date marks the beginning of the victory of the Sandinista Revolution that overthrew the dictatorship of the Somoza family, which ruled the nation from 1936 to 1979. In this context, a huge event took place in Managua with the attendance of several delegations from different countries. In her speech, Co-President Rosario Murillo praised the revolutionary spirit of the Nicaraguans who have overcome any challenges they have faced, adding that Nicaragua will continue to work with regional partners to achieve the people's dream of prosperity and well-being. For his part, Co-President Daniel Ortega questioned the role of the United Nations in the face of the genocide of the Palestinians. The Co-President also called for the unity of the nations of the world in order to achieve a common goal to improve the living conditions of the people and eradicate poverty in Latin American and Caribbean nations.
We will magically continue fighting here for Latin American and Caribbean unity. We believe that we must continue fighting for Latin American and Caribbean unity. Continue fighting to strengthen the soul of the Bolivarian alliance, of the people of our American continent.
La alianza bolivariana de los pueblos de nuestro América.
And Co-President Daniel Ortega highlighted the work of a multi-platform teleSUR as a fundamental access in the recounting of history from the truth of the people.
That, brothers, we have. And here is the president of teleSUR, Patricia Villegas.
Patricia Villegas, y en teleSUR tenemos un punto de partida.
And in teleSUR, we have a starting point to be able to raise awareness of the crimes that are being committed, and that this raises protest, as protests are being raised even in the United States itself.
En los mismos Estados Unidos, en contra del gobierno judío, y ese no es más que un plan.
Against the Jewish government, and this is nothing more than a plan of the Jewish government, hatched with the United States government and with the complicity also of the European governments.
Con la complicidad también de los gobiernos europeos.
Which is to make the Palestinian state disappear. This makes it perish, and they have said clearly. They are confessed criminals.
Así lo han dicho, son unos criminales confesos.
And Co-President Rosario Murillo emphasized that Nicaragua celebrated the pride and courage of the people who have fought against oppression and exploitation, highlighting the strength of the Nicaraguan spirit filled with love and unity.
Esta fiesta de la fe, en esta Nicaragua bendita, soberana.
On this celebration of faith in this Nicaragua, blessed sovereign, always dignified, and always free, from the heart of our people, proud, brave, and heroic, who have fought the most glorious battles against all forms of domination, exploitation, and misinformation, in our own affairs.
E intromación en nuestros asuntos propios. En esta Nicaragua que ha luchado y vencido.
In this Nicaragua, which has fought and defeated the imperialists of the earth, we speak from the soul. before the peoples and the raised conscience of every Nicaraguan, courageous, decent, honorable, we say that we have known how to travel all the paths and all the crossroads of our history with the flag raised high.
De nuestra historia, con las banderas en alto, proclamando las victorias de la razón,
proclaiming the victory of the reason of the heart, and of the Great Spirit, which is love, intense and immense, that great spirit that inhabits and animates the strength and fortitude of this glorious homeland, where we have always gone beyond, fighting for peace, freedom, and the rights of all.
Batallando por la paz, la libertad y los derechos.
Furthermore, co-president Rosario Murillo confirmed that Nicaragua is and will continue to be free thanks to its ongoing triumph throughout history.
Proclamamos, reiteramos que Nicaragua es.
We proclaim and reiterate that Nicaragua is and will continue to be free, because we are a people who love, sing, dream, and fight.
Canta, sueña, lucha, combatientes permanentes del amor.
We are permanent combatants of love and of all the triumphs of our Christian socialist condition, and joyful solidarity.
Y alegría solidaria.
The government of President Gustavo Petro reached an important agreement with the dissident group known as the National Coordinator of the Bolivarian Army, which will free Colombia of 14 tons of war material. This is how it was agreed this Saturday at the end of the meeting between delegates of the national government and representatives of the coordinator in the indigenous reservation of Indas Zapaleta in the department of Nariño. With the signing of the agreement, 12, the delivery, verification, and progressive destruction of this war material that the organization maintains in its possession is guaranteed. Technical execution of this procedure will be exclusively in charge of the public force and will be accompanied by the support mission to the peace process of the Organization of American States. In the meeting, which lasted 2 days, it was also informed that the group will move to a temporary location zone. We now have our first break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English. You'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We're going to be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, completes his first 6 months in power, which have been marked by the tariff war and massive deportations of migrants. After his presidential inauguration in January 2025, Trump lashed out against the country's governmental institutions, aiming to take control of the branches of government and prevent the blocking of his policies. However, federal judges have blocked several decrees, including public spending cuts and immigration policies. Experts warn that Donald Trump's administration is acting illegally, violating court orders, which weakens national democracy and harms the social and economic progress of the United States. And since the inception of the Trump administration's immigration plan, more than 273,000 migrants have been detained, including those with permanent residency, while the number of deportees has reached 238,000. According to testimonies, undocumented migrants are afraid to leave for their jobs or to keep their immigration appointments due to the arrest by Immigration Service. Currently, significant deportation proceedings are unfolding. The U.S. President has signed an executive order to eliminate birthright citizenship, a policy which will apply to children of foreign parents. And while thousands of migrants are being deported and others are being sent to prisons in the United States and El Salvador without due process, social organizations have filed lawsuits against the U.S. President for violating the constitutional rights of imprisoned migrants. Human rights defenders have spoken out about the poor conditions at the Alligator Alcatraz Penitentiary, with at least 6 people having to go to hospitals until the moment as a result. And during his election campaign, Donald Trump presented himself as a president of peace. However, his administration has been marked by a high number of drone and missile attacks against other countries. In 2025, the U.S. president ordered more than 520 attacks against nations in the Middle East and Asia. At the same time, Trump supported Israel's policy of ethnic cleansing in Palestine after expressing his desire to turn the Gaza Strip into a tourist center. The genocide being carried out by Israel in Gaza, besieging thousands of innocent people with hunger and bombs in the last hours, also added a new immediate evacuation order, this time for the residents of Deir al-Balah. According to the spokesman of the genocidal troops, Abishai Adarai, who read the order this Sunday at 8:05 local time, the residents of this refugee camp, the smallest of all those who barely survive in the Strip, must evacuate the southwestern sector because the occupants will carry out an operation, they say, to destroy terrorist infrastructure. Is the explanation they give for besieging or murdering thousands of Palestinians who are starving to death, and under these conditions they demand that they evacuate immediately, in the first instance to Al-Mawasi locality. And Pope Leo XIV renewed his call to the Israeli regime for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. The leader of the Catholic Church once again prayed at the Sunday Mass for peace and for the parties involved in the genocide against the Gaza Strip to negotiate peace, since, in his opinion, the world cannot tolerate this barbarity. The Supreme Pontiff called on the international community to respect humanitarian law and the obligation to protect civilians. The Pope also called for a ban on collective punishment, indiscriminate use of force, and forced displacements. And in Spain, thousands of citizens mobilized in Madrid in rejection of the recent riots and racist attacks perpetrated by ultra-right groups against migrants in Murcia. Under slogans such as "Not to Racism," participants raised their voices to denounce the impunity of these fascist groups and demanded concrete actions from the government of Pedro Sánchez. The demonstrators demanded the expulsion of ultra-right groups from the neighborhoods and the regularization of more than 500,000 migrants living in the country. From the center of Madrid, the participants warned that the mobilizations will not cease until the racist violence is stopped. We now have our second and final short break coming up. We invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. The final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. Typhoon Weipa has caused massive air traffic chaos in Hong Kong in southern China on its westward passage on Sunday. Major airports in the area's main cities canceled daytime flights and some high-speed train services were also called off. The Hong Kong Observatory issued a number 10 hurricane warning, its highest alert, as the eye of the storm passed just south of the city with sustained winds of 140 kilometers per hour. Local government reported that over 200 people had to seek shelter, and there are dozens of reports of falling trees. The storm, which reached typhoon strength, passed near Macau and was expected to make landfall on China's west coast Sunday afternoon. And the early drought that started in May has affected people, animals, and crops throughout the Western Balkans, causing water and power restrictions, disruptions in river traffic, and problems in agriculture in this part of Southeast Europe. The Western Balkans faces a severe drought after a heat wave hit the region, disrupting daily life and creating issues in multiple economic sectors. There's also has been negative impact on power production on the countries of the region. The State Meteorological Institute of Serbia has warned that extreme drought is affecting the country's crops, while water levels in rivers and lakes have dropped. In Bosnia, meteorologists have said that June this year could end up being the driest in recent history, causing huge damage in agriculture. And in Spain, the current climate is causing severe storms which are gradually destroying beaches and rising sea levels, according to authorities. The level of the sea has increased by 14 centimeters in 25 years. The waves are an average of 30 centimeters higher. According to some specialists, current trends of sea level rise along the Catalan coast indicate that by 2100, the water will reach at least a meter higher than today. Specialists also believe that a conservative figure, they say that the speed at which the sea level is rising has multiplied by 4 in 3 decades. Scientists say the biggest problem will arise when the sea reaches the town's infrastructure, train lines, homes, and businesses. And South Korea has been hit hard by a series of relentless torrential rains this week, raising the death toll to 14 people and leaving 12 missing. The severe storm has mainly affected the southern part of the country for the past 5 days. This Sunday, the situation worsened with the discovery of another fatality and the report of 4 missing persons in Galpyeong County. In the same locality, a 17-year-old woman lost her life when her house collapsed due to a landslide. However, the hardest hit region has been the southern county of Sancheon, where rainfall has reached extreme levels, accumulating close to 800 millimeters since Wednesday, July 16. As rescue teams continue their search efforts, South Korea now faces a challenging recovery process and the urgent need to adapt to increasingly unpredictable weather. And Global Energy is an international award for exceptional contributions in the energy field. Established in Russia in 2002 with scientific support, it is held in the Russian city of Krasnoyarsk, considered the energy capital of the country. This year, 44 countries participated, half of which are from the Global South.
The Global Energy Prize is one of the most prestigious international awards in the field of energy. This year's laureates were scientists from Russia, China, Chile, the United States and other countries, whose research is opening up new horizons in traditional energy, alternative energy, and innovative forms of energy applications for the entire world.
As you know, Global Energy Prize has 3 categories. Number 1 is traditional energy. Number 2 is non-traditional energy. Number 3 is new ways of energy application. And in all 3 categories, we found that the laureate made a breakthrough in new ways of improving how we can improve the sustainability of energy.
Yu Wang, profesora de la Universidad de California en Los Ángeles, ganadora en la
Yu Huang, a professor at the University of California, Los Angeles, winner in the unconventional energy category, is the first woman laureate in the award's more than 20-year history. Her research in renewable energy, hydrogen technologies and new materials shows that the planet's energy future depends on environmentally friendly solutions.
My group develops designer catalysts, and more importantly, we work to bridge the gap between discovery and deployment, turning new materials into working platforms for energy conversion and storage. Energy is a global challenge, and it will take global cooperation to solve. From decarbonization to equitable access, we must work together across borders and disciplines for the good of the planet and our future generations.
Para la Asociación Global Energy, que otorga el
For the Global Energy Association, which awards the prize, one of its priorities is to strengthen cooperation with the Global South, to address the real needs of its people, and to move towards sustainable and fair development for all.
In
the south of this planet, we have more and more research or applications of existing technologies that have contributed to the improvement of the life of a rural community, a city. In other words, yes, we are talking about first-class research, but research that helps to develop also in the south. We develop energy for the supply of cities, industrial enterprises, and we also look today at what kind of energy. We are developing. Of course, the resources we have are not all clean, but we have to take into account that we do not yet have supply for the whole population. So we have to go through, choose each resource, analyze in what way we can develop that energy to make it sustainable.
The contributions of global energy are a great step towards the construction of a world development model of cooperation and mutual complementation among all those concerned with the well-being and future of humanity and our planet.
teleSUR Moscú.
The Festival of Light of Antigua 2025 takes place in Guatemala. Let's see more on the following report.
Una verdadera fiesta de luces es la que viven
A
todos
true
los
festival of lights is what all Guatemalans live, and mainly the inhabitants of this city in the south of the country, through the Festival of the Light of Antigua, which this year reaches its second edition, and was celebrated this 18 and 19 of
Se
July.
celebra este 18 y 19 de julio. Diversos monumentos y lugares emblemáticos de esta localidad.
Several monuments and emblematic places of this town are open to art and optical illusions, through images adapted to the buildings that combine movement, sound, and colors. In addition, several streets and avenues are also adorned with illuminated figures of animals and other objects, allowing visitors to live an immersive experience while taking a night tour.
Los visitantes puedan vivir una experiencia inmersiva mientras realizan un recorrido nocturno. El evento permite contar historias a través de las
The
proyecciones.
event allows to tell stories through the projections of lights in emblematic spaces, inspired by the so-called magical realism, through video mapping technology on the facades of the monuments. On this occasion, 6 sites will be illuminated: La Merced Church, the Company of Jesus, the Cathedral of San Jose, the School of Christ, the San Francisco, El Gran Church, and Los Remedios.
El Templo San Francisco el Grande y Los Remedios.
Along with these structures, spectators will also see colorful designs in the Union Tank, Belen Park in Santa Rosa, Alameda, in homage to Miguel Asturias, 1967 Nobel Prize winner for literature, and a key figure in the Latin American imagination.
1967 y figura clave del imaginario latinoamericano. Este impresionante festival se presenta como una nueva
This impressive festival is presented as a new form of artistic expression in an emblematic place such as the city of Antigua, which has many colonial buildings. And this openness to art also extends to international creators, as in this edition more than 15 artists from Brazil, France, Colombia, Germany, among other countries, will present their visual works to the public throughout the event.
Los países presentarán sus obras visuales al público durante todo el evento. El público podrá disfrutar de este segundo festival de la
The
luz.
public will be able to enjoy this second festival of light at night, reliving the memory, legend, and revelation. Beyond simply being an attraction for locals and visitors, it seeks to position the city of Antigua as a new venue for digital art in Latin America, which, in turn, helps to boost tourism and sustainable development.
El turismo y el desarrollo sostenible.
Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media: Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm with Roberto Matos. Thank you for watching.